In the midst of Holy Week, the new film Sinners hit the big screen with great fanfare, brought to us by Ryan Coogler, the creator of Black Panther. This is a protracted Southern horror story starring two Michael B. Jordans at once in the leading roles. It is a richly atmospheric vampire tale set in the Mississippi of the segregation era, steeped in the haunting blues of that time. Sinners marks Coogler's first fully original film, untethered from real events or existing source material, and he packs it with layers of themes and genre-bending fluidity. Ryan Coogler has already helmed two of modern cinema's iconic franchises, the revitalized Rocky spin-off Creed and two full-length Marvel motion pictures, including Black Panther, arguably one of the MCU's best installments, and its emotionally resonant sequel, which honored the late Chadwick Boseman. As a young filmmaker, Coogler became the most financially successful black director of all time, with his films grossing over $2.4 billion worldwide. That success appears to have granted him carte blanche. Warner Brothers handed him nearly $100 million to create an original, vague genre R-rated film based solely on the strength of his name and that of his frequent collaborator Michael B. Jordan. It's a bold move, but also a weighty responsibility. Every underperforming auteur blockbuster, like Mickey's 17, makes studios lean harder towards safe bets, like a Minecraft movie. What stokes curiosity here is that Coogler is a leader in mainstream black cinema for his generation, and he seems to thrive in that role. His work carries an almost mystical sense of purpose, distinct from the social rage that drives some of his colleagues, and this quality is especially evident in Sinners. The film has its share of strengths and weaknesses. Reuniting Coogler with his favorite leading man Michael B. Jordan, this R-rated movie has garnered the highest Rotten Tomatoes score of Coogler's career, a staggering 98% approval from critics. Set in 1932, historical horror unfolds over the course of a single day and night, showcasing Michael B. Jordan in dual roles as two sharply contrasting twin entrepreneurs, Smoke and Stack. Having survived the trenches of World War I and the cutthroat realities of Chicago's gangster underworld, after 7 years, brothers return to their hometown of Clarksdale, Mississippi, in the heart of the Delta. Armed with plenty of cash from their criminal endeavors with Al Capone, a truck loaded with illegal Prohibition-era booze, and an ambitious plan to open their own club, they're unprepared for the inhuman dread awaiting them. Dressed in sharp city fashions that make them stand out in the dusty, segregated town, the brothers purchase an abandoned sawmill from a white racist masquerading as a benevolent good old man. Their goal is to transform it into a juke joint, a lively music bar for plantation workers. The grand opening is set to feature their young cousin Sammy, an impressive debut by rising talent Miles Catton, a preacher's son with a resonator guitar brothers gifted him years ago, an instrument imbued with a dark, demonic energy. Sammy's blues playing is so mesmerizing it even attracts the attention of a ruthless Irish vampire passing through settlement. Smoke and Stack tear through the southern town, driving past endless cotton fields as they recruit staff and draw in the weary local crowd for a night of revelry. A couple of Chinese migrant grocers, kindred spirits in a shared experience of racial oppression, are engaged in supplying the food. The door is guarded by Cornbread, a gentle giant from the plantation. Running the kitchen is Annie, played by Wunmi Mosaku, a healer and hoodoo priestess who is also Smoke's old flame and the mother of his late infant son. Annie radiates a quiet old love for Smoke, a connection steeped in deep roots. Joining Sammy on stage is Slim, a legendary local bluesman who plays harmonica and piano, brought to life with soulful authenticity by Delroy Lindo. Among the club guests is a former lover of Stack portrayed by Marvel star Haley Steinfeld, a headstrong woman of mixed heritage, black in spirit but white in appearance. Their relationship ended long ago, a casualty of her complex identity. Now a wealthy white woman married to a man in Arkansas, she's returned to town for her mother's funeral, unwittingly setting events in motion that will change the brothers' lives forever. Equally electrifying is Perline, another standout character whose fiery singing and dancing captivate anyone, regardless of race or creed. Sammy's musical talent pierces the veil between life and death, setting the house ablaze and momentarily exposing the bar's revelers to the demons lurking outside. In Sinners' most unforgettable scene, eerily reminiscent of a Riverdance performance, a mob of freshly risen undead partygoers dances an Irish jig. The escalating vampire invasion in the juke joint ratchets up the tension, beginning with the chilling charisma of their ancient leader, Remick, a spooky performance by Jack O'Connell, and culminating in a bloody, chaotic siege. Particularly chilling is Remick's invitation to oppressed ones to join his ranks, offering escape from humanity's cruelty in exchange for entry into a brotherhood that promises eternal life, liberation, and enlightenment, albeit only after death. At the heart of the story lies the idea of music so powerful it summons spirits from both the past and the future, tearing through the barrier between life and death, healing communities, but also inviting darkness. This mystical force is rooted in traditions stretching from ancient West Africa to pre-colonial Ireland and Choctaw tribal lore, a thematic thread woven into the film's rich tapestry of cultures. The film's soundtrack, crafted with precision by Ludwig Göransson, seamlessly blends music and live blues performances into an intoxicating, immersive experience. This electrified collective moment is a glorious expression of freedom for a community oppressed by hatred and exploitation, many of whom live on the brink of starvation. Blues holds a special place in Sinners. It's a source of cultural pride. The characters laugh at how even white folks can't help tapping their feet while listening, but it's much more than that. It symbolizes the soul of the Black experience, and that's precisely what draws the devil's attention. In the blues lies salvation, but also sin. This duality is the film's central metaphor, even more significant than vampirism as a stand-in for racism. The twin dynamic has been a recurring theme in recent cinema. Take, for instance, Robert De Niro's recent performance Alto Nights, another Warner Brothers project where the legendary actor concurrently portrays two powerful gangsters from the early 20th century. Coogler's approach closely mirrors the structure of From Dusk Till Dawn. The film's first half, set in broad daylight, slowly introduces us to the characters, two of whom are once again criminally inclined brothers. Then night falls, the action shifts to a lively, remote drinking place, and the tone, genre, and overall style take a sudden, dramatic turn. Much like Tarantino's work, this setup might have been particularly thrilling for viewers who went in blind, unaware it was a horror film. Unfortunately, modern marketing makes such surprises almost impossible. The behavior of the vampires in Sinners strongly echoes the undeads in Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer's TV series From. Much like the bloodsuckers in 1930s Mississippi, zombies in that mysterious modern-day small town can only enter a home after being verbally invited inside. The consequences of such a fatal mistake are predictably gruesome. The film is undeniably ambitious and brilliant in parts, but puzzling and overly derivative in others. Unlike the playful experiment of Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino, Sinners takes itself seriously, and the fusion of genres often feels clunky. One might argue that a more straightforward approach, like depicting a non-supernatural Ku Klux Klan, could have delivered Coogler's intended message just as effectively. While Sinners offers plenty of blood, sweat, and sex, there's a sense that Coogler is only tangentially interested in physicality, a notable weakness for a vampire film. Unlike Rodriguez and Tarantino's 1996 collaboration, Sinners doesn't wink at the audience with over-the-top violence or cliché B-movie tropes. Coogler's vision is more serious, trading pulp for thought-provoking imagery and genuinely unsettling ideas. Coogler resists giving one of the brothers a noticeable scar or a fancy hairstyle, making them initially seem interchangeable and hard to tell apart. Smoke is more serious, brooding and hard-edged of the two, favoring a gray three-piece suit and a blue flat cap. Stack, on the other hand, exudes a carefree, open energy, flashing gold tooth caps, sporting a burgundy felt hat and accessorizing with a stylish tie and pocket square. Michael B. Jordan had plenty to sink his teeth into beyond his natural charisma, and he fully commits to these dual roles with sly humor. He gives each brother a distinct energy, setting them apart well before their inevitable clash and layering subtle nuances to show who will succumb to manic transformation and who will hold steady long enough to exact vengeance. By the film's conclusion, the twins feel like completely different people. For a movie that devolves into a brutal bloodbath, Sinners is unabashedly sensual, bursting with a kind of lust, physical allure that feels entirely fitting for a film with this title. Through the character of Sammy, Motion Picture reimagines the legend of Robert Johnson, the iconic Mississippi bluesman. One of the most celebrated blues artists of the 20th century, Johnson famously lived and created music in the same state where Sinners is set. According to lore, after struggling to master the blues guitar, Johnson disappeared for a year and returned with unparalleled skill. He often recounted a tale of striking a deal with the devil at a mystical crossroads, trading his soul for musical mastery. While this pact granted him a meteoric rise, it also led to a tragically short but unforgettable life. In Sinners, this myth is given a fresh twist, weaving its themes of ambition, sacrifice, and the supernatural into the character of Sammy and his extraordinary blues talent. Ryan Coogler is undeniably a heavyweight filmmaker. His mastery of action sequences is an undisputed strength, as he's proven time and again. But when treading the slippery ground of poetic abstraction, he starts to falter. The search for profundity and gravitas often comes across as overinflated without landing any real impact. One of Coogler's recurring challenges is knowing when to wrap things up, a flaw also apparent in Black Panther. Sinners overstays its welcome with multiple endings and post-credit scenes following the Marvel playbook. Instead of a clean exit, Coogler lingers like an overstaying guest who has already said goodbye but keeps shouting from the porch, delaying the host's relief at finally closing the door. It's hard to predict whether hardcore horror fans will feel satisfied. Coogler takes his time setting up scenes, meticulously building character dynamics and atmosphere before unleashing the carnage. Even when the bloodbath arrives and the nightmare escalates into nerve-wracking dread, his patient pacing might frustrate those expecting constant thrills. Still, Sinners is a smart horror film, occasionally even poetic, with much to say about race, humanity, and spiritual liberation. It's a dynamic exploration of the mystical and supernatural power of blues music, an allegory for the struggle for freedom, both earthly and otherworldly. Although the movie exploits hackneyed clichés of the genre like garlic, aspen steaks, and sunshine, Sinners is an interesting experience, unlike anything Coogler or Jordan has done before. It brims with magnetism and the thick, heady atmosphere of the 1930s, a time marked by segregation and inequality, while tackling timeless themes that resonate even today. The film is an ambitious blend of vampire horror, Southern Gothic, folklore, and blues-infused spirituality. While it holds the potential to become a landmark work, especially for Black audiences, it's held back by a sense of derivativeness and overblown ambition. Despite these flaws, it's an intriguing, genre-bending piece that dares to aim high, even if it doesn't fully hit the mark.